Hi, Miss Johnson. This is Alina, and my group is Connor Dewey, Ethan Choi, and Bianca Yeager. In our story, a scientist wants to go to space with a space boat and goes and explores a water planet and finds treasure. In the story, there are three allegories, one environmental, one technological, and one economical. The economical allegory is when the book reads, they think that Dan's space boat might cost too much money. So this is all the way over here. This is addressing the real-life concerns about space travel and the technology that goes with it being too expensive, therefore making it more difficult and risky to develop if it were to not work. The technological allegory is when the book reads, he should reuse an old spaceship. This is a direct relation to SpaceX's plans to create a super heavy and starship by reusing and redirecting resources from past projects to new projects. The environmental allegory is when Dan dumps his trash in the water and the treasure is inaccessible until he cleans it up. This is a general link to pollution in general and more specifically water pollution. So here you can see he's dumping it in the water and he can't go into the gate. One of the questions we aimed to address in our story was what process do scientists go through in order to create the devices? This was addressed when the story read, Dan is a scientist and Dan used ideas as his friend George, an engineer, made. George also uses the ideas Dan made, so both Dan and George think their ideas give the same to what the town wants and needs. Here you can see that. This explains how scientists and engineers work in tandem by using their knowledge they find and technology they create. Another question was, why is the grand challenge important, which we address in the story by saying that Dan and George do what they do based on what their town wants and needs, which means that the grand challenge of engineering the tools for scientific discovery is important because it creates things that end up helping people. Another question was, what is the purpose for engineering the tools for scientific discovery? And we address it by saying when Dan is at home and George comes to see him, he brings two big machines. They look like space boats. One is made of wood and one is made of styrofoam. By this, we are trying to convey that the grand challenge's purpose is to create technology that aids in specific scientific fields. The fields are astronomy and aerospace engineering. Our final question was, what are some examples of scientific tools of discovery, which we showed in the story with the space boat, and our reference to the internet said in the book as his other friend John found out how info can be passed around anywhere really fast. In the creation of our story, we made sure to include various literary devices and artistic elements. Literary devices we used were personification, imagery, illusions, assembly, and elements. Oh, and alliteration, sorry. Our use of personification was with the gate at the end of our story, which stops Dan from progressing further and says he cannot pass until he cleans his trash. While the gate could just have a sign that says this, for the gate to magically open once his trash is clean means there is something else at hand here, and we consider our audience and figured that the kindergartners would like to see this as the gate being a sentient entity. We use imagery by describing the planet as a water planet and when describing the treasure behind the gate as a big starry space. This allowed our audience to better envision the treasure and the immenseness of it. Our final literary device was an illusion, where we made a reference to the real-life exoplanet Gliese 1214b. The exoplanet is a part of the Gliese system and has been observed to be entirely covered by and potentially entirely made out of water. We make this connection in our story with the planet mentioned being a water planet. Right here, when he says, good thing the planet is made of water. Our alliteration comes in when we describe the crystals in the caves, and we use the words colored, crystals, caves, and collects. Lastly, we use assembly when we describe the marble that captured the big starry space by saying the marble is as large as an orange and dark like coal. The artistic elements we also used was line-based composition and perspective. Examples of our use with line is the diagonal lines on the spaceboat to show motion, and the round lines on the gate to show security. This is the gate, and this is the spaceboat. The scenes where Dan was traveling to the planet, a lot of space was left to emphasize the emptiness of space and the size of the planet. We used composition and perspective by placing the planets on the right side of the picture to further show that it is distance and being traveled to, and also to show size, right here. Some choices we made in relation to the design elements was placing objects in order they appear in the text in order from left to right, and the creation of tension in the beginning of the text where we mentioned potential danger to Dan in space, which could in anticipation that something would happen. So that's all of the requirements, and it kind of sounds choppy, but I hope that's okay. Thank you for grading this and letting us have an extended timeline.